It's the holiday season, and Noble Knight's got a brand new code, and this time it's for 10% off. Hey everybody, your old buddy Hambone is here, and I am in the holiday spirit, and so are our friends over at Noble Knight Games. So much so that they've bumped the normal 5% discount code that they give us up to 10%, and this is just in time for the holiday season. So if you're thinking about buying some games or gaming accessories for your friends and family, look no further than nobleknight.com. Now, this coupon code is 10% off, and that is good for online or in-store purchases, and it's going to be running from the 25th of November all the way through December 22nd. That's 10% off all purchases online or in-store running from the 25th of November all the way to December 22nd. Now, the code is Vintage RPG, so you want to make sure that you put that in at checkout to get your 10% off. There is a minimum purchase requirement of $5, but once you get over that $5, it is 10% off across the board. December 22nd is the last day that you can get stuff for Christmas depending on shipping. So go on to nobleknight.com now and put in the code VintageRPG and get 10% off your purchases from November 25th to December 22nd. And happy holidays from your friends at Vintage RPG and our friends over at Noble Knight Games.
This is the Vintage RPG Podcast, your source for the best in classic and contemporary RPGs. With your hosts, Hambone and Stu.
Welcome to the Vintage RPG Podcast, coming at you again from the clubhouse, hidden somewhere in the swamps of New Jersey. I'm John Hambone McGuire, and with me, as always, is the editor-in-chief of Unwinnable.com. He's the only person who leaves saltines and seltzer out for Santa, Stu Horvath.
What? Saltines are great. I love saltines. They're dry. They're salty. Like, what more do you need in a food? It's the perfect food.
It's a perfect snack. I was workshopping that joke for a while, and I was running it past George upstairs, and he was like, oh, saltines, definitely. Saltines and seltzer. That's a Stu move.
Yeah, totally.
So this is going to be the 2019 holiday gift guide. Now, we did one last year because we really wanted to promote and put over the things that we loved and were really excited about. And now we've actually made friends with some cool creators who make some really amazing stuff. So we want to help put them over too. We want to give you a cool little roadmap of the kind of gifts that you could give no matter what holiday you celebrate or maybe don't celebrate. But we're here with some inside info for you. So let's kick this off right, Stu.
Yeah.
What are you excited about?
So many things. There's just so many things. This past year, I've had like so much cool stuff in my feed, coming in my mailbox. Like, it's hard to whittle things down. So the first thing I'm going to recommend is that you just look at the people I'm following on Instagram. A lot of them are artists. A lot of them are independent game designers. You can just check them out. Check out what they're doing, throw them like $5 to their Patreon, buy their latest book. It's all good stuff. Wow, I almost sounded like a salesman there, right?
I'm rubbing off on you finally. And listen, man, I agree with that wholeheartedly. That is a great gift that you can give to your favorite artists or writers or content creators.
Or to yourself.
Yeah. If you are a patron, get people to give to you.
Yeah.
That's the gift that keeps on giving. Folks, that's my first tip. If you have a friend who has a Patreon, subscribe.
Yeah.
If you have a friend who has a podcast, like, review, and subscribe.
And it just so happens that we have a Patreon.
We do. With lots of extra content on it. You get unboxing videos, you get early release episodes, you get access to the Slack, and any kind of cool inside info we have. You're the first to hear about it.
Patreon.com/vintageRPG.
So first thing I'm going to recommend. Wow, so you're getting really good at this.
And whenever it comes out, I feel like it's at a really awkward moment. Like, I don't think that we should have end the episode with that necessarily, but it came out.
But you did so good, we're going to just keep on moving forward. So I like to start off with smaller gifts. Some things are a little more heartfelt or things that are a little less expensive because it just really is honestly the thought that counts when it comes to gift giving. In the end, you are going to get my Charlie Brown annual speech about, the real gift is your time, but more on that later. In the meantime, one of the companies that I really love that I keep coming across at Comic-Con is a company called Cholo. They make really great accessories.
The name of that company.
It's fantastic, right?
Oh, jeez.
So they make really great accessories, pins, necklaces, jewelry, like any kind of cool D&D pin that I got. I just got the Tomb of Annihilation pin from them. I've got a Dungeon Master pin from them. I got a Monster Squad patch, which is all the Universal monsters that are going to look really great over my left pocket on my denim jacket. So they're a cool company, real nice people. Cholo has pins and accessories starting at $8. They have things for Universal Monsters, He-Man, She-Ra, Voltron, you name it, they got it. Definitely think about checking them out. They make great stocking stuffers and great accessories for any kind of clothes that you might be giving to your special somebody this holiday season.
Discriminating nerd stuff.
Yes. I will say this. If you are looking for a badass ring that if you ever did get in a bar fight with, it would leave a really distinguishing mark, Cholo makes these rings. They got a great Warduke ring. They got a lot of cool jewelries and accessories.
You don't want to leave a mark that's distinguishing, though, because then you're going to get arrested.
That's true, but it also sends a message.
Yeah, true. We don't condone bar brawls or any kind of physical altercation at all.
Yeah, no, the most bar fighting I do is when I choke on a peanut while watching Roadhouse. That's about as aggressive as I get.
Especially this time of year, the time of
joy
togetherness.
And togetherness and love.
Yeah.
How about you, Stu? What do you got?
So along your lines of non-gamery things, I'm going to recommend a whole bunch of books and stuff later, but there's two folks that I follow called Dellamorte and Black Rider Industries. They're two guys from New Jersey, so I got to put them over. They're both sculptors. They both work in resin and they both make really cool stuff and they work together. So a lot of stuff that Black Rider sells is sort of sculpted by Dellamorte. He's like a classically trained sculptor. He's fantastic.
Fancy.
So they have houseware stuff like magnets that have liches on them or orc skulls, wine stoppers.
Can't go wrong with a wine stopper.
No, but they also have these really rad actual sculptural pieces. They have this griffin that I just love, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on because I'm just like, where am I going to put it? How am I going to dust it? But it looks so cool. And they sent me over pictures of some of the stuff that they're releasing now, which included the skulls, which are badass. You can see them on the Black Rider Industries site. I mean, unicorn skull? Yeah, that's awesome.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean, it's for a specific type of person.
Yeah, you're right.
I am the unicorn skull type of person.
And I'm more the stuffed unicorn guy.
Yeah, you're the guy who comes over to my house and goes, "Oh man, Stu, that just..."
But I still think it's badass. Go on.
But they sent me pictures of this frost giant sculpt that looks awesome. Just super cool, super dramatic. You could fit on your bookshelf, reasonably priced. The griffin that I'm looking at is $65. There's two varieties. If you get the hand painted stuff, it's going to be a little bit more because it's obviously hand painted.
Yes.
The griffin that I really like is sort of like a bronze looking thing and it's all just one color. So it's a little cheaper, but just really cool stuff, for your discerning DM who has shelf space that he could put a statue on, Hambo.
Oh, you were winking at me? For those listening at home, he's winking and kind of trying to nudge at me. I get what you're laying down.
If the gang wants to go in halvesies on something.
You do have the shelf space. So with that, I will tell you, I am a huge dice fan. And
you don't say.
So my buddy just got his kid actually just got into D&D. And he was like, "Dad, where do I get all this stuff?" And I was like, "Listen, next time I stop by, I'll bring you a mason jar full of dice." And he's like, "Really?" He's like, "You have that many dice?" He's like, "I don't want to take all your dice." I said, "Ha ha ha, my friend. That's barely an eighth."
Yeah, and I just saw you got those candy corn dice, and you don't even like candy corn.
But I like the idea of candy corn. So I got amazing candy corn dice from a company called Ice Cream Dice that I kickstarted earlier this year. I got cool ice cream dice for them because ice cream is my favorite thing outside of Dungeons and Dragons and pro wrestling. And then he had candy corn dice, so I had to buy those. So if you go over to icecreamdice.com or you check him out on Instagram, check him out on the Twitter, there'll be a link to his site. The candy corn dice are so amazing and they roll really nice, and you actually get 3 D6s and 2 D20s in the pack. So
nice.
It is a diesel dice set. And that said, that's a really normal over the plate kind of dice, right? And not to diminish those dice because they're awesome. However, I think that everyone deserves to treat themselves to a really nice dice, a dice that's made of a metal or a wood or something eerie, that comes from a bog or something. So I was at Comic-Con this year, and I came across the Level Up Dice booth, which is huge. Now, Level Up Dice makes a lot of amazing different types of dice, ranging from precious stones to precious metals. I bought an aluminum dice there. Aluminium. is the actual word, which I practice saying because, I'm bad at fantasy words, even though that's actually not a fantasy word, but I digress.
That's how the Brits say it anyway.
Well, there you go. Well, aluminium is the dice that I got, which is so cool painted. It rolls so good. And I got it for like $28. Now, they've got dice ranging from $20 to $28 all the way up to like $1,000 if you're getting a full set of something special. And, maybe that's a little above your pay grade, but man, you think about going into battle, thinking about going into your fantasy realms. You may not have all the best gear to wrap your body in, but man, you always want to have that one good magic weapon. And for me, that magic weapon is a dice from Level Up Dice. And I highly recommend everyone give it a shot. Pop over to Ice Cream Dice and check out the cool colors that they have and get yourself something really Vorpal sounding at Level Up Dice.
Funny thing about your dice fixation is that like kind of every time you bring up like the special dice, like a little part of me kind of rolls its eyes because I'm just like, they're dice. You don't need to spend a lot of money on them. You don't need a lot of dice. You have like mason jars full of dice. Like that's crazy.
I know my mom gave them to me.
That's crazy, I think to myself. And then getting ready for the game last week, I like got my dice out because I had to bring them from the clubhouse where we usually play to my basement where we don't usually play. So I just grabbed all of the dice and laid them out. And I was just like, my God, I have so many dice. So I've been sort of like, oh God, Hambone with his special dice. And I'm just like, I have a metric ton of dice.
Oh, I saw that Instagram post and I threw so much shade because I remember the conversation. I was like, oh yeah? Yeah, I see your special dice too.
That Instagram post was not even all of them. Like I left out all the special weirdo dice that I have.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Well, it's cool because I like it when I go to a game and I'm playing, especially with some new people. I'm like, hey guys, you want to roll something really cool? Who wants to roll from the Tuska Woolly Mammoth?
Such a nerd.
This is titanium. Like, come on, and everyone's like, ooh, this is made from wood. And everyone's like kind of trying out different things. And it's fun. It's a little bit of an icebreaker, especially when you're playing with new people, but you're also eyeballing them because you don't really know them. You want to make sure they don't walk off at your special dice because then I would have to find someone who would go Roadhouse on them because it wouldn't be me because I'm a lover, not a fighter.
We're all a bunch of pushovers.
What do you got next, Stu?
So this one's a little bit of a high concept recommendation. I think that you should go on to exaltedfuneral.com and buy something. I don't care what you buy because Exalted Funeral does such a ridiculously good job just finding cool stuff. Every time I recommend something, it's like gone the next day. Like I don't know what to recommend specifically. I mean, if Witchburner is there, grab
Definitely
that.
buy Witchburner.
If Ultraviolet Grasslands is in stock, grab that. But like he sells through stuff so fast. And I think that's testament to how awesome all of his selection is.
I think that the word curation gets thrown around too liberally these days, which is something that Matt actually does. He curates the selection that appears because he distributes these RPGs. So he's not just distributing everything just to distribute it. It's stuff that he believes in, stuff that he likes, something that he thinks is really going to turn someone on to something that might be a little different than something that they've ever experienced before. And I think that's something really cool. And that's why I love supporting Exalted Funeral.
Yeah, like I think that I have a pretty good nose for weird games. And then I met Matt and I was just like, there is so much stuff out there that I'd never heard of that I want, that looks so interesting, that is so creative. Like all of this stuff, I have like a gigantic stack of stuff that I bought through Exalted Funeral. And it's just all top grade stuff.
He's like the cool record store guy who when you go in there, he's like, well, you like this, but you might think this is cool too. And then you listen to it and you're like, God, how did I not know this existed? And you're driving around all summer and that's what you're listening to. Or in this case, you're playing it at your gaming table.
Exactly.
So Stu's right on the money, man. Just go and buy anything.
Yep.
If you like the way the cover looks, if you like the description of it, you're probably going to dig it.
Yeah, and this is exactly the same thing. We were talking the other day about our time at the record store and how our old boss just had a nose for like what band was going to break. Like he knew about the Killers months before like they broke wide.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I feel like Matt just has like this sixth sense about cool role-playing stuff. That said, Matt has been kind enough to provide us with a coupon code for all of your listeners.
Yeah, it is in all lowercase letters, Vintage RPG. If you use that at checkout, it will get you 10% off anything that you buy from Exalted Funeral.
10%. That's a lot of percents.
That's a whole lot of percents. And I'm not a math guy, but it feels good.
And that's going to run through December 15th, which is the last date that he believes that he can ship and get stuff to you for Christmas.
Which is important because if you are giving this as a gift, you want to get in there and get it before the actual deal goes down.
Yeah, but I think that half of the people that we're talking to right now, we're talking to people who are buying gifts for themselves because...
Yeah. Or really, if you're buying a gift for stew, this coupon code will be helpful, and you want to get it before December 15th so it'll ship in time for Christmas. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Daisy.
I like where you went there.
Hey, man, I'm here to help. But yes, definitely check out our friends over at Exalted Funeral. Use the code VintageRPG to get 10% off from the moment that you're listening to this in the year of our Lord, or Dark Lord, or no Lord, 2019. Hey, man, you don't know what people are into.
Hey.
Through December 15th, 2019. Wow, Stu, you're getting really good at pitching.
Am I?
That was very good. It was a nice transition there.
Oh, good. Cool.
So speaking of nice transitions, we have another person we want to shout out, our friend Daniel Fox, who created Zweihander.
Zweihander.
Or if you're in Missouri, Zweihander.
Every time I read the name in my head, like Rammstein is playing in the background for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. But the game is amazing. And since the time it initially came out, he came out with supplements for it. So now you have Mangausch. You also have a player's handbook, which is what people were clamoring for. And you've got a character folio complete with a death certificate on the back of it, which I think is like chef's kiss, a perfect touch. It's a game that is a little different than the D&D that I grew up playing, but it's a game that I've immediately embraced. It's a game that I love. Even if you are just a fan of reading RPG books, if you go to the back of Zweihander, these spells are second to none. Like the ways you wish spells were written and described are in the back of this book, but the gameplay is fantastic. The art is fantastic. Everything about it is fantastic. And I'm going to tell you something that I normally wouldn't say when it comes to going and buying games. Now, obviously, we want you to go to your friendly local gaming store, get it from an independent creator, get it from the person who's selling it off the back of their car if you can. In this instance, though, I'm going to tell you to go to Amazon to get the Zweihander books because there is no outlet on the planet that will beat the price. You're getting it for half off.
Yeah.
Which is something that, like, when it comes to your dollars and you trying to, get gifts from multiple people or trying to bring gifts to the friends and family that you love, every dollar counts. So Zweihander, when we record this, is $32 on Amazon. It's like half off. Mangausch is $32. Player's Handbook is $34. Character Folio is $10. Lord only knows the closer you get to the holiday season, what they're actually going to be. But, if you have a friend or a family member who's heard about Zweihander and is really interested in getting into Zweihander, I just love saying it. Dude, just pick up the books. You will not go wrong. It's going to be something that's definitely going to enrich your gameplay at your gaming table. You're going to have a lot of fun with it.
It's going to be something that you're going to be able to read the entire week between Christmas and New Year's. When you're off, you'll have that person who you give that gift to will be set in reading material.
Oh, yeah.
They're huge.
Oh, yeah. And then they're going to be excited to play it with you, which is the whole point, is playing more games with your friends and family. Also, if you really like art, like black and white art, and like you like black and white, like things that you think about getting tattooed to your body, there is no shortage of cool looking stuff in Zweihander.
Yeah, Dejan Mandik does such a fantastic, they have one artist, which I think is always a good move. Tony did a Lizzie Planescape. And like it just has like a kind of consistent tone that like you don't get from a lot of other RPGs. And he's super good.
Yeah, he is super good. So yeah, definitely check out Zweihander. Get it any way you can. But realistically, I know you're going to buy it from Amazon. And you know what? That's cool. Well, if we're already shopping on Amazon, then why not make one more stop? I will tell you, my favorite thing that came out this year was the Young Adventurer's Guides for Dungeons & Dragons by Jim Zub. We had him on the show recently, and he got down deeper into the Young Adventurer's Guides. And I will say it until I am blue in the face, if you have a young adventurer in your household or you just love D&D that much, you definitely want to pick this up. And whether you're getting it for yourself or getting it for someone else, you can get it for like $8 on Amazon. And you can That's it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's what I'm reading now as we record this. Who knows what it's going to be when you go to check it out. That said, Dungeons and Tombs will be out, as well as Warriors and Weapons and Monsters and Creatures. So you can knock those right out of the park right when you start putting your holiday gifts together. And you could pre-order Wizards and Spells, which is going to be like a late Christmas present that's going to come out in March. So definitely check out the Young Adventurer's Guides for Dungeons & Dragons by Jim Zub.
So Hambone, when I describe myself, I think of myself as a very critical person.
Yes.
I nitpick at things and I kind of try and break things down and I find things, even in stuff that I love, that I don't like. And I try and figure out why.
That is you to a T.
Right?
Yeah.
I own that. The exception to this is Chaosium.
You are a Chaosium fanboy.
I am. It's the one thing. I still do those critical things, but I think that I give them a little bit of a benefit of a doubt that I don't give anybody else, because they have such a body of work that I've always enjoyed. I always think that their stuff is just so creative and insightful, and they do things just the way that I like them. And it's really weird when somebody else is doing something the way that you want it to be done, you know?
I will tell you, and I would tell this to anyone who I talk to about this, that the only reason your Dungeons and Dragons collection eclipses your Chaosium collection is just because Wizards put out that much more stuff. TSR put out that much more stuff in the time that it was happening than Chaosium did. It was just a sheer volume of stuff.
Totally. Absolutely. 100% true. There is tons of TSR stuff that I have no intention of ever buying, but I own just about everything that Chaosium ever put out.
Yes, you do.
We're talking about, I can count them on two hands, the number of books that I don't own.
Yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's true. That said, I think that Chaosium put out some really cool stuff this year. First and foremost for me was the RuneQuest rule set, which is a slipcase thing. You could get the individual volumes separately, but why would you? You can get a slipcase. Comes with the new 7th edition rules, which are very streamlined, modernized, and done in all of the same way that they did with Call of Cthulhu and Pendragon. They just put that coat of modern polish on it. It made it much more open for new audiences. Fantastic art all the way through. If you get the slipcase, you also get the bestiary, which allows you to make non-human characters like ducks.
Yes.
Love the ducks. And trolls, which I also really love. And then a whole bunch of other stuff that I really don't think that you should ever make a character for, like elves and dwarves. They just don't work in my head anyway. They're just really weird in RuneQuest, and I feel like they should be encountered and dealt with, but I don't think that a player is ever going to really be able to do them justice or justify them being in the party. Anyway, I'm digressing. You also get all the monsters in there too. So you get your brew and your walktopie and your walktopus. It's the best.
Yeah.
And the Jacko bear. All your classics.
Wait. The Jacko bear?
Oh yeah, it's a bear and its head looks like a jack-o'-lantern and it can paralyze you, and it's a chaos monster. It's horrifying. As stupid as it sounds, it's one of the things you never want to meet.
I love this. I want to meet this. But come on.
You also get the Game Master Pack, which has a gorgeous screen, a whole bunch of character sheets, introductory scenarios, and it's basically the whole package. Everything that you want to start a RuneQuest game, totally compatible with all their older RuneQuest stuff. And they just did a fantastic job. And like the Zweihander book, if you get this for somebody, you know that they're going to have plenty to read.
That is awesome.
And there's also the Call of Cthulhu starter set, which came out this year, which is a great introduction. Same deal. They do these things so well. It's a great introduction for new players. Super simple. Has a ton of classic Call of Cthulhu scenarios, all in one little box for $20.
Yeah, it is really not a bad deal. Some things that I love that Chaosium put out this year, we got Miskatonic University.
Oh, yeah, that's so much fun. We just played that the other night.
The Restricted Collection, which is a competitive card game, which really is luck of the draw at all times.
Yeah, very Russian roulette.
Very, very hard to game the system.
Yeah, I was really disappointed in my showing last time, but whatever. You can't win them all.
You really can't win them all. Another thing that I love from Chaosium is something that you can get, which is Con of Cons, which is in our, I would say, weekly rotation at the clubhouse.
Oh, yeah, we play that game constantly. It's a great 15-minute in between other stuff or end of the night, let's get one more in game. So fast, so fun.
Now, these games are all by Chaosium, and they're all different kinds of games, different flavors of games, different experiences for people who play and love games in different ways. And what's cool about them is that you can pick them all up from our friends over at nobleknight.com.
I smell a segue.
It is a segue. Prepare yourself. Another discount code is coming. So our friends over at Noble Knight Games.
We should have heralds playing trumpets.
Oh, yeah. I'll add it in post. No, I won't. So our friends over at Noble Knight Games have hooked us up with another discount code. Now, this time, they're giving us 10% off. So for our listeners, if you go to nobleknight.com and you pick up anything that you want that's located in that store, whether you are online or walking through those doors and going there in person, which lucky you're getting to go there in person, use the code VintageRPG, all lowercase letters, and get 10% off your order.
God, if I could go there in person on the regular, I probably wouldn't leave. They'd have to have me arrested.
I would forward your mail there.
Yeah.
We'd probably record the podcast in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, this place seems big enough. It's a castle.
Yeah.
Well, what's cool is they do have everything that we talked about in stock right now. The RuneQuest Glorantha Deluxe Slipcase is $99. The starter set for Cthulhu is $22. $22 for the Miskatonic Restricted Collection card game. $18 for the Conicons. You're getting a better price than you're getting anywhere. And if you use our coupon code VintageRPG, you're going to get 10% more off your order at Noble Knight Games.
So that one runs through December 22nd, which, depending on what shipping option you choose, will still get you stuff by Christmas Eve. But I would not do that. I would buy earlier. I wouldn't risk it. I feel like even in, the best of circumstances, 2 days before Christmas, using overnight mail, like, you're risking.
But if you're within driving distance, you can use that coupon code at the checkout. Vintage RPG, all lowercase letters. Get 10% off your order.
Yeah, why not? They have everything. They have anything that's been on my feed that we've talked about in this podcast since the beginning is all sort of at Noble Knight.
All the Chaosium stuff that Stu was counting on his fingers that he did not own, we know where he's going to ultimately get it from.
It's true.
So definitely check out our friends over at nobleknight.com.
All right. So this year, I feel like there wasn't really one thing. Like last year, it was Art and Arcana, right? Like It was a fairly expensive book that everybody should buy because it's freaking awesome. And then that Beetle and Grimm thing, which was like crazy expensive.
Was crazy expensive.
Yeah, like, if you have somebody who's going to give you something like that for Christmas, good job. So I was trying to figure out something along those lines to kind of end it with, to be like, ooh, this is the big prestige thing. And I didn't think I would find one. And then I realized that I have the Invisible Sun Black Cube, which is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely ridiculous.
Oh, I've seen it. It's amazing.
It comes from Montcook Games. It's a relaunch of the Invisible Sun game, which is sort of like we'll talk about this at a future episode because, God, it's so huge. It's basically a game about your spirits who, for a time, were in our world pretending to be human. And now you've gone back to your magic realm and you're rebuilding it. You're sorcerers of different stripes. So it's sort of a return to actuality is the tagline. It's really heady metaphysical magic stuff. Very kind of tries to simulate real world occult systems into a role-playing game. The box is like 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5, and it weighs over 30 pounds.
And it's all black.
And it opens up very interestingly. There's 4 books, tons of handouts, character sheets that are super customized. There's a gigantic resin hand with 6 fingers, kind of creepy. There's playing mats. There's over 1,000 cards. There's a card-based system for the magic. Some custom dice. What the hell isn't in this box,
I will tell you that when I walked in the clubhouse when you first received it and you had left it on the gaming table and the light was just kind of shining down on it and it was glowing, I'm like, I don't know what's in that black box, but this is exactly how horror movies start and don't end well for your old buddy, John Hambone McGuire.
So I haven't actually had a chance to really dig into it, but it looks super cool. I really appreciate Montcook is just so good at like ideas, and I usually fault him on systems because he likes more crunch than I do. This game actually seems like it has like a pretty good balance, and it's just so evocative. The art is fantastic. There's an art book, a dedicated art book in addition to the 4 rule books.
Wow.
There's all these handouts that are sealed that I haven't even opened, maps, business cards for the city, this weird mystical city that you are. Like when you come into your power, you can like go to like these places that'll change your appearance. So like there's a lady who like from her nose down looks like a human lady, but the top up is just an open book. It's really weird.
That sounds amazing. And also, I feel like calling this a deluxe set would be doing it a disservice. There's a lot in there.
Yeah. It's a little Hellraiser-y. It's spooky. I really like it. It's expensive.
How expensive?
$300.
That's for everything that you get in that box. That is not bad at all.
It's so heavy. I had a real problem like hefting it up into the loft because it's like it's big and heavy, and I got a ladder, so it's like, oh, how do I get it up
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I got it up there.
God bless.
Yeah, I didn't hurt myself. I don't know how I'm going to get it down if we ever play it.
Well, we'll have to play in the loft. That gives us incentives to go sit up in the loft, with our legs folded, play Invisible Sun.
Not a lot of headroom up there.
Well, yeah, but I'm not that tall. Maybe for you. But for me, I'm fine in any room with any level ceiling.
Yeah, so if you want to knock somebody's socks off this holiday season, buy him Invisible Sun. It's a hell of a package, And it's also like a hell of a product. It'll expand your mind, I think, about what role-playing games could be.
So I will wrap it up by saying, here comes the Charlie Brown speech, everybody. Buckle in. Gaming is about being with your friends and family. Gaming is about sharing your time with other people. That's the real gift. Like, that is the real thing that, no matter what holiday you celebrate or what holiday maybe you don't celebrate, maybe the holiday season is hard for you, as it is for many people, play games with your friends. That is the real gift, is spending time with the people that you love. If you want to get something cool for your DM and you don't want to spend a lot of money, what I found is that DMs always need things like mechanical pencils, dry erase markers, index cards, especially index cards.
Yep.
And the thing is, you don't even have to go to a big store to buy them and spend big dollars. You could walk across the street to any dollar store, go to their school section. You'll be able to find this stuff for $1. So for $1, you can do something truly thoughtful for your dungeon master, game master, keeper of secrets, or chill master. And that's pretty cool too. So just think about this holiday season, reaching out to old friends, making some new friends, unburning some bridges from either side, being nice to each other. And that's my Charlie Brown speech for the 2019 holiday gift guide for the Vintage RPG podcast.
Well said. Well said, Hambone.
So Stu, where can the kids find you?
They can find me every day at Vintage RPG on Instagram.
You can find me on the Twitter at Handbreaker. I tweet about Dungeons and Dragons. I tweet about professional wrestling. I tweet about cute animals, and I've been seeing some real cuties lately on the internet. You can also find my day-to-day adventures at John Hambone McGuire on Instagram. I post pictures of the podcast I produce and my day-to-day whereabouts and the things I do and the trouble I don't get myself into, because I'm a good boy, especially when Santa's watching. So for Stu Horvath, I'm John Hambone McGuire. May the dice always roll in your favor. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Every review helps other listeners to find us. The Vintage RPG Podcast is a ham-fisted production. Music by Dego West. Art by Schaefer Brown. If you like the podcast, you should also consider becoming a patron at patreon.com.